And that's when I knew I was a failure. Put my palms on this floor and just wept because I felt so powerless.
Brother Murillo, it's good to have you back.
How you doing? Alan, it's good to be here. I think we're going to get some serious business accomplished today.
Well, listen, we ain't here to play, but I want to take you back now to an auditorium that's packed with 3,000 people in Pasadena Civic Center Auditorium. On the front row, there's a drunken man who's there with his child, 7 years of age, who's paralyzed, and he's cursing at you, trying to shut down and distract from the meeting. What happens in that moment? What's going through your mind, and what happened next?
Well, I'm angry because we had 1,000 people that didn't get in the building, and it was little Paul and his father Henry. Henry was drunk, and the reason they were there is Grandma. She had watched TBN and said, you need to bring little Paul, who had spina bifida. That meant that there was a hole the size of a dime in the base of his spine, so that his legs, muscular and nervous use, did not develop correctly. And so here is this child, and his legs, of course, are so thin because they hadn't developed. And all of a sudden, I'm hearing this man say to his son, don't listen to this man. Don't listen to this man. He's a fake. And I wanted to know, how did he get in and 1,000 people didn't? I was getting pretty upset with my ushers at that point. But God had arranged it because of Grandma. The devil hates Grandma.
The devil hates Grandma.
He does, because she'll pray more than praying hide.
Yeah.
And when it comes to a grandbaby, there's nothing in the universe more powerful. So they're sitting there, and he's drunk, and he's disturbing. And then God begins to heal in the audience, Pasadena Civic. And I look at him, and suddenly he elevates little Paul up above his head and starts yelling, what about my boy? What about my boy? And that's when I knew I was a failure. You see, I knelt on that stage and began put my palms on this floor and just wept because I felt so powerless. And that's where I want everyone watching to understand, especially every pastor. When I am weak, then I am strong. I have seen, I don't know how many times in my life, I watched Miss Kuhlman in a meeting stop because she felt powerless. And she'd begin to whisper, and you could barely hear her. She said, be still and know that I am God. That moment when God speaks is the most overwhelming moment of your life as a minister. And I'm there on the floor, on my knees, with my palms, looking down, feeling like a failure, because now all of this healing message was front and center, being challenged. And the Lord said, I will be glorified. And folks, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you, God's going to be glorified. I don't care what the current political villains do. God is going to get his witness. He's going to get his word in, and people are going to be hit hard by the glory. And I looked up when I heard the voice of God say, I will be glorified. I looked up, and it was like invisible lightning struck that little boy's legs, and he began to bicycle in the air so violently that his father couldn't hold him anymore. And he pops him on the stage, and little Paul ran into my arms, and I was never the same, never the same.
Can you just write in the comments, if you're hearing the story, to God be the glory? Can you just yield everything that is in you to the glory of God, not to your own reputation, not so that your beliefs can be verified or justified so you can win an argument, but will you allow God to be glorified